Jonathan, but I won't do. My game's crashed anyway. I'm trying to get back into the game right now, Jonathan. My goodness. There's low-hanging fruit even for me, John. You know, it's a bit too low-hanging even for me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to see how far your standards are, Mike.
I mean, I go low, Jonathan, but you know, sometimes it's a bit too easy for me. You know, you gotta throw the ball a little bit harder.
Yeah, sometimes it's just on the ground. You don't want to pick it up. It's been on the ground. 3-second rule.
It's been rotting for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like the Wind Ranger pick. Rotten for quite a while.
For that, John. No need to pick on the hero, John. I can't give her a bit of a break.
30 seconds to
It's Wind Ranger. It's a hero. We'll see what it can do. This game number 2. I believe that it has some potential. I'm sure. See if we do see a level 1 team fight to break out. Perhaps you could look to ATF at the top lane. Schofield and Analog are somewhat set up. Does have crit around to the Batrider to help if necessary, though, and it doesn't. Schofield's going to try. ATF's going to show up trying to sneak around to the other bounty, but decides better up. And so, it's going to be a 2-for-2 trade anyway. No, a 3-for-1 trade in the favor of Heroic. So a bit of a better start here for the dire end of things.
Feels nice. Managing to at least get a little bit of a head start, especially for Analog on mid. Should feel good to have a slightly faster bottle timing if all things hold equal in lane. Gonna have to watch for that. Mid lane matchup for Pango versus a Razor isn't the comfiest. You can't quite leverage shield crash as much as you'd want. And you're gonna have to try to dodge out every time with swash as well. So there's a lot of play for Malorine. Easy wave clear as well with Plasma Field. But it shouldn't be too rough for Analog, at least in the initial levels. As long as the static link isn't sapping too much damage, you've always got room to wiggle here on the Pango. But I'd say just prioritizing Plasma Field here can start to make it a little bit awkward for Analog. We'll see whether or not that's something Malorine will want. Probably something like 2-1 here, and you have really easy control over that Pangolier. I suppose Rune Control is the one thing the Pango has a little bit easier with his mobility, but it's not the most important thing either for the Razor. And Malorine already gets a D-ward, so he's feeling good for himself.
And he absolutely is. Okay, they will get the tip for some apparent reason as Schofield ends up going down here to Crit. Crit able to secure first blood. In fact, he might even have a secondary kill here onto K1. KJ's trying to help him out, but Crit takes him down. He's even got Firefly back up, so KJ's going to be somewhat cautious. If Crit felt like chasing him down, he probably could. Schofield will TP back up towards the top lane, though, and what a great start here for the Pulse 4 Batrider. A double kill to get things started, plus a first blood gold bonus.
Yeah, that's the way you want to do it. You know, slow down this Wind Ranger as much as possible. It's going to be a hellish time for Hector. Maybe by level 3, level 4, you start to feel comfier when you have some counterplay lined up with perhaps a value point in the Shackle. And that's where things can start to line up. We are seeing a lot of punches being thrown down mid. Malorine and Analog dropping low, but you are getting a lot here for Malorine in exchange for that. Has the bottle all healed up, has his water rune still available, and is leading by a pretty decent margin up against Pangolier. 12-6 up against 4-1. Oppressive for Analog so far.
That it is. That bottom lane, Skitter and Snaking going at it here with Divine Llama and KJ. Of course, Skitter's having another great old time. I mean, 10-1 on the spend. Doesn't really feel like the Nature's Prophet and Mars will be able to slow down Skitter too much, and obviously with the support of this position 5 Leshrac, you don't really want to get too aggressive. You know, it's just the turnaround potential with support Lesh is a bit too much. Just with that level 1 Diabolic Edict even, it really is just too much damage.
And it is. You really have to respect it. At the very least, Snaking isn't just free to run up and do what he wants in comparison to the last game. And you've got some counterplay, much better counterplay with KJ on the NP here. So there is room to punish. A really easy spear setup if Snaking oversteps. But you still have the space here for Skitter to farm. And that's all you kind of want at minimum in this lane anyway. Mid.
Oh, has he gone a bit too far? Will swash away. The link is still going from Malorine, but he is not going to be able to continue thanks to the sprout of KJ. Malorine, maybe putting the hand up a little bit too early, is going to go down and never gets the Fairy Fire off either. Just goes for the Plasma Field play instead, trying to snipe Analog, and does end up going down to KJ.
Again, it's just the key feature of that Nature's Prophet. Global presence very early on. Lots of output with the teleportation. Looked a little bit dicey for Analog, but he plays on edge, and this allows him a little bit of free EXP to flow in. Very important for the timings that Malreen's hitting in his own level spikes here. So it does equalize 2-2, a much more even start for Heroic this time around. And a little bit slower for Falcons coming into this laning stage. Still, and when it comes down to farm, you are finding the farm you'd want on Falcon's end, but Hector is starting to find some of that own farm as well on the top lane, although.
Look at this Prophet, John. Like, what's he meant to do? He just literally ran the whole time, and Diabolic Edict pretty much killed him. Like, that last split Earth was obviously the final kind of deciding bit of damage, but it's just so stupid to watch.
And it is. Schofield as well, getting burned down by Crit. The name of the game for sports here for Falcons is just run at.
Oh my.
As Analog gets run down.
Yeah, Malreen just takes him out completely alone. Malreen with the smiley face as well. Whoopsie. Oh, you love to see it. KJ will get tipped as well while he's running. Malreen, a little bit spicy from the mid-razor. I mean, ATF must be blushing, John. ATF's been a bit quiet. Malreen's taken over the bad boy persona, it seems.
Yeah, you know, Malreen had things to say. Some of his words were on Reddit. And he is letting some words out as well. Yeah.
I like that.
Got stuff to say. Oh, Schofield.
Divine Llama. What did he... If I called that thought, because top lane Schofield was just getting annihilated here by ATF and Crit. What is it he said, Jonathan? I haven't been perusing Reddit as of yet.
He had some words for Tomato. He had some comments about Tomato somehow. Came out in some interview.
Okay.
Said some things. So, you know.
Some rather negative things I'd guess, John?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was Malreen. Maybe my memory fails me. I apologize if it is failing me, but I do recall an M and a 1 in the username.
Radiant's middle tower.
Is that John?
Speaking of Reddit, do you remember reading about Doom just running at you? I mean, it's not just Doom, apparently, with Snaking chasing down again.
Nah, Divine Llama now. Should we get the TP cancel onto Skidder? Snaking is going to be able to TP away, but Skidder's been left behind. He'll run towards the north with the salve up. Skid, I mean, this is going to be a bit of a long wraparound for the poor Sven, but looks like he should be able to make it. Eventually.
Yeah, does bail out. Maybe he could connect towards mid? Nah, he doesn't have the mana.
Always feels like he should have just gone for the Wisdom Rune. Honestly, John.
Yeah, honestly, I was expecting him to do that, but probably enough damage from KJ and follow through from Divine Llama to take care of that, so not going to be able to contest. Not that you'd want your pos one to contest. We've seen that a couple times before. You do that when you're winning, sure. I mean, you're 6-2, but Network Lead isn't the smoothest tier for Falcons early on. And you have had a lot of room for Hector to farm up, despite that slower start with First Blood being given away. This Wind Ranger has now managed to at least build into a point where it's not going to get completely shut out. I say that, though, Amar.
I'm playing K1. Kind of the thing, John, you know, that this POS 1 Wind Ranger, we keep seeing it. It keeps dying.
There you go.
ATF now handing the tips out.
You were asking for it. There it is. No all chat. Just the tip. For now.
I don't think ATF needs to all chat, John. Yet it's a POS 1 Wind Ranger that's just been destroyed this laning. I mean, she's got great CS. I just don't believe it's going to amount to anything. I don't think Falcons are worried either.
Definitely not, no. Again, what does this Wind Ranger supposed to do when Ghost Ship is up? They will try now, Amar.
Here we go. Tips for ATF shortly after this one. Boat is out though, ATF. Gonna try and tank some damage. That's a lot of damage being dealt onto K1. But the Wind Run will stay. He never gets the hit off. And Tidebringer was on cooldown, so he couldn't have hit somebody else. Unfortunate.
Oh. That's a lot of attention just for Amar after the tip. Heroic does get revenge. Oh.
Crit, be careful, sir. It's a lot of farm here for Crit. See, with the start the Batrider support's had, you may as well just take all this farm and get that Blink Dagger up early. Why the hell not?
Yeah.
So here comes ATF. He does not want to see this farm go the Batrider's way.
A little bit selfish of Amar. This blink timing for crit would have been nice, but I suppose he's got enough on crit. Share the love. Amar's going to be happy as well. Again, 7-3. All things considered, heroic. Not finding kills, are finding farm. A lot more even distribution across all the cores, and Skitter is the one to lag behind just a bit post-laning phase here. So you are getting that presence that we were looking for from heroic in the early game to slow down the Falcons just a tad. But my concerns still lie in what power spikes are going to be waiting for. This diffusal for analogs coming up soon. So you will have that to play with the inhibit threat as well. That can be pretty impactful. And the global presence of KJ has already been felt. You've got Devi still waiting for that blink. I suppose it's just down to this blink and diffusal timing. Blink for Devi, diffusal for analog. Once either of these heroes has that up, you can easily connect with everyone else.
Oh boy. K1 just going down again. No crit to take the kill. See, the lasso was committed that time around, so was the boat, but it's always well worth it to take down the Wind Ranger position 1. Now the fight over the 10-minute power rune timings is everyone's just TPing into the mid lane to ensure it does remain protected here for analog, but it's just so much commitment. Everyone's TP'd in to try and get this arcane rune. They'll find crit on the Batrider. Crit is still casually walking away. They're forced to drop the arena. That's 4 heroes to secure the support back.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of space for the side of Falcons. It's recovery for Skitter when he's left alone. Again, a little bit of a slower start for him on that safe. It's room for Amar to just keep shoving top, make it a little bit uncomfy for Hector to just get his own farm. They're not able to capitalize as well. Off the back of that kill, it's not like you find a Batrider in your jungle, then you go for a push. So, let's see what they can connect with now, though. They've got the smoke out, and Log Schofield looking up top.
They are. Arcane Rune's still available here for Analog as well. Just wants to make use of it. Boat is up in 3 seconds for ATF, so you are going to have it available for this little engagement. Schofield going to be spotted here by the Lesh immediately, so they never get the jump onto ATF, instead securing Snaking's life. But I think you are still pretty happy if you are Falcons, just giving up your position 5 and allowing ATF to walk away from that situation. Does seem like Heroic would have much rather taken down the Kunkka. So, take what you will, I suppose, as Heroic right now, but still going to be feeling kind of bad, I think.
Yeah, I think the big thing is, with snaking down, that does mean there's less pressure on Hector, less pressure on that tier 1 tower as well for a push. So you can kind of get some breathing room out for that Wind Ranger, relax a little bit. Falcons, though, going out with their own smoke and respawn of snaking. Does have that Pulse Nova up as well, so even more damage to pump out here.
They make the jump in onto Devi Llama. Devi absolutely annihilated down to the bottom lane. Or even Schofield trying to stop the Diabolic Edict abuse here from Snaking. May actually have him with the finger, but no, not quite. Now Skitter joining the fray. Schofield trying to run. He just needs a bit of vision, and well, Maureen is going to provide exactly that. Securing the kill himself now on the Razor.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Nothing you can do. Like, if you don't kill the Lesh, he takes your tower. If you try to kill him, they just kill you instead. The Falcons just completely running circles here around Heroic.
That they are. Finger down for 2 minutes. So no burst play available. It's their big real 100-0 spell. You're not going to be able to try to melt down any of these heroes before that run buff comes on in a wider team fight, if it does happen. 10-5 Falcons reigning control back in the latter half of the laning phase. Travel's already up in crit. He's sneaking around with a nice Kobold.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Crit.
Oh!
He's just going to run out of there. Crit's fine. Crit is okay.
That's so cheeky. Just a shovel Kobold to travel into. You don't have NP, just find a shovel.
Never mind, he's down. They do get him eventually. Problem is K1 has been caught out. K1 still wind running for now, might just make it, but Snaking's just chasing him down on the left track. K1 just barely alive, but not for long. Maureen moves in to take him down. So Maureen getting quite low himself now to Analog. Needs a way out of this. Does get caught in this. Oh, Analog! He misses the swashbuckle. Oh boy, they drop the arena. They'll get Maori down, but it's just costing them too much. Now the chase for Divine Llama, it's going to be a team one.
Yeah, there's no running from this.
His Skidder doesn't even want to pop the God Strength. Does decide to do it eventually. There's your X out as well on Device, so there's no escape now from ATF. Again, I mean, it feels quite bad. Like, your Pango dies like that after missing a swashbuckle. Devi finally goes down. It's a rough affair here for Hero.
That it is. Falcons just dancing around them.
K1. Oh, he's going to try to get away, but they've got plenty of lockdown for him. K1, there's no escape.
No.
It's under attack.
It's just looking for safe space to farm. There is none so far. They need to take some of these objectives.
Analog. He's been X'd up. Torrent's going to land. Boat is also going to connect. He does have a swash available, but it may not make the difference. He'll continue to just try and run, but look how fast Maureen is.
Oh my god.
He just could not get away as they TP and Vaughn out and try and get some kind of situation going for themselves, but well, they lose out on Schofield. Looks like KJ's probably going to follow. ATF on a killing spree. A 3-for-1 trade in the mid lane. Maybe, I mean, Divine could find snaking perhaps. No, not really. Snaking will just walk out.
And this is rough for Heroic. This timing lining up now for Falcons. They're going to have this Ags up on Amar in short order. And once that Ags is up, you're looking at a world of hurt. Just the haste not even enough to save you from Malrine. And with that full Mage Slayer up, killing him off just takes so damn long. Like, they have to finger him. They can't focus down on crit. They can't stop Amar and crit from just doing what they want in the middle of these fights. It's that durability problem we talked about. Like, this lineup on Falcons, it's just so hard to burst. We're not even seeing all of their spells for durability to land in. We're not seeing the big run buff combination with Warcry in some of these engagements. It's just piecemeal sets in individual pieces. All of these heroes are just too much.
Radiant are scanning. Radiant's middle tower has been denied.
Top lane. Here we go again. The Divine Llama arena is down. They have found crit with that, though crit just goes right for the lasso onto the Mars. So Divine never get the spear off. Does finally get it in the end. They do take down one. Now into snaking. They might have a second, and they will. Snaking and crit both dropping. Here comes Analog for a bit more. Skidder, he's completely out of mana and now locked onto the river. It seems like they should have him. It's just no escape here for Skidder. It's just the perma-stunts come in. Divine having a look for another. Not going to be able to catch ATF. But that is a fantastic team fight here for Heroic.
Really good vision being dropped early as well. Ward getting full usage out from the side of Heroic. And you can see the effect this shard pickup from Schofield early does do. The slow, the lack of mana, the lack of follow-through for Falcons to connect all of their spells. It does a lot of work. Like, Lion Shard did get nerfed, it makes me sad, but it was nerfed for good reason. This damn thing is still strong, if your positioning is right.
Oh, it is absolutely still really damn strong. It's nothing to scoff at, that's for sure. The Lion players are still eating good tonight. There's no doubt about that.
I still remember you used to laugh at me taking that talent at 15.
That was
saying, oh, you know, that split talent was really nice.
You've got to stop.
It was good. It was good. People never picked the talent. People had to have it to be a shard first. The timing's kind of, you know, the timing's earlier at 15 minutes in comparison to level 15. But it was good.
It was.
And they're like, it's not that good. It was good. It's exactly the same. What do you mean?
None of the pros. None of the pros.
No one was playing Lion anyway.
Because it wasn't
Except
good.
like maybe Baboka.
Radiant are scanning.
Mid lane. It's going to be a 3-man smoke up. Heroic.
Dire's top tower.
Look at him. Oh, it's a smoke on smoke. And Falcons have got the high ground. They're going to see Divine Llama. Immediate lasso out from Crit into the boat of ATF. A nice Earth Spike, at least from Schofield. In fact, they are going to continue trying with a Rolling Thunder up from Analog. They could at least have Crit's life. And that they will. In fact, K1 chasing down Snaking here on the left track. Snaking's gone. A 2-for-1 so far in the favor of Heroic. It is just both supports, but still the fights are certainly looking a lot more even than they used to.
And it's off that timing. Again, they've got that full diffusal up on analog, much easier to chase down with the inhibit, easier to melt through their mana, on top of that with a shard of line. So they're starting to find ways into these fights for Heroic. They're hitting this early spike. They've got room for Hector to try to play catch-up, lagging behind in terms of farm now in comparison to what Skitter has. But that build-up is certainly there, at the very least, for Heroic. 5k lead still stands for Falcons, though. It's not all doom and gloom. Snaking trying to go into the Guardian Greaves and the Ghost Scepter. Probably prioritize the Ghost Scepter first. Should negate a lot of the output here. And the Ags fully done on Mar is something to worry about. Like that Thornstorm, it's going to cause a lot of issues in the middle here. So we'll see if Amar can get himself in a good position to utilize that in these team fights. Still, signs of life for Heroic. They've bounced back in pretty good form. BKB coming out next for the Vi Llama as well. Be able to initiate for the team with that blink. And he's actually going for the Revenant's Brooch. Queued up. I don't know if he's going to finalize that, but Brooch plus God's Rebuke is pretty fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage. We go again. He's
All right.
up here from Heroic. They're going to run right towards that middle lane. Schofield going to have his smoke broken here by ATF. Analog going to be revealed as well. ATF. Going to get the X off on Schofield. Arena now down as well. Maureen has been caught within that. I don't know if this is the fight Heroic quite wanted, as they've already lost KJ. Analog just trying to remove himself from this team fight now because they are just completely melting. Maureen on a triple kill. Amar picks up another, and that's a full team wipe. Just absolutely annihilated here in this mid lane.
Again, it's all down to prioritizing Amar first. They get that finger on the Kunkka, still manages to get the boat, still manages to get the Torrent Storm off, and suddenly no one's dying. It's just way too much. Crit up front does get focused down, but everything else falls flat. The BKB timings here from Falcons to show off, meaning that the roll's not a threat, the arena's not a threat. Without that hold, these heroes are free to do what they want. Again, it's this durability factor. It's the Warcry, it's the boat, it's too much when it all collapses in the right way from Falcons.
KJ gonna TP in. Snaking though, just gonna TP right back out. Nothing can be done. He'll just take the Wisdom Rune and get the hell out of there. 11k advantage once again here for Falcons in this best of 2 series against Heroic. Heroic not out of it yet, but it's dire straits once again for this side. They'll get started on the Tormentor for now and just try to find any objective they can. Problem is Falcons, they have smoked up as 3. In fact, Snaking will join the fray to boot. Seems like they are hoping for somebody to show on the mid creep wave, and it might just be K1. K1's going to show up, and crit, immediate jump in for the lasso. And that is K1 as good as dead. Very nice kind of prediction there from Falcons, and they got the best target they could have asked for on top.
Yeah, it slows down this BKB that Hector desperately needs to just stand forward. Trying to go into that. Just double defensive. BKB into the Lincolns. Necessary up against the Batrider, of course. It's going to be a while until that's up and running. And even then, I'm not sure how much damage he's going to be able to pump out in the middle. When you have to consider Warcry, when you have to consider that boat, it's just too much physical resistance coming out here from the side of Falcons. I think one thing to note with the Vi, I did forget Revenant's Brooch was buffed to not have mana cost on abilities, so it's free casting on God's Rebuke, and theoretically, I suppose the Ags as well, but we're not likely to see that. Amar just playing tag with the X, pressuring out the top, forces out quite a few TPs. Everyone's clumped up around top, giving them room to just keep that shove on mid open. Eventually, we'll get that point as well, where if Snaking finds enough room, Diabolical Edict to melt these outer towers starts to happen, and you've got that full Ags up and running now on Skitter. So he's got some mobility on hand to chase down here.
Superman is online. Very, very fun. Roshan is open. If Falcons wanted to make the jump in for the Roshan attempt, they certainly could. It's like Skitter might go through the Twin Gates and actually just start the Roshan himself. KJ is around that area that Skitter is currently farming, so if he does run right into him, it should be a pretty easy pick-off. Meanwhile, top lane, looks like they are having a gander. See if Heroic can find somebody. Marine was the target, but he will be able to walk away here from Schofield. And meanwhile, Falcons, they see everyone up top, so they just go for the Roshan pit. Which is just why they hold not. You know exactly where Heroic are farming at the moment.
Yep. You got the room. They did run under Heroic wards as well, so they know Roche is happening. They're starting to scout forward. Not going to be able to come in for the steal, but they are still somewhat making their way down bot with a smoke out. Still, Roche Fault's a little bit too fast for them to handle and have that secondary life up and running on Skitter. See if they still force this. They're still running bot.
What a bounty!
Heroic.
Radiant are scanning.
Crit would be a decent target. He'll just pop the Firefly and run those. Skitter. Oh, he's going to get the TP away. Schofield didn't even have the range anyway for the Earth Spike, quite frankly. They'll spot out Crit, but he also just casually TPs away. So nobody being punished for this free Roshan attempt. Very annoying here for Heroic. And now Falcons, I mean, they could just go back to the farm game, take the Tormentor, regroup, and maybe think about some T2 towers. You've certainly got plenty on of damage on Skitter. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's all lined up. Gonna go back and rebuild the Echo Saber. Just perhaps looking for the Harpoon. Just a lot of ways to jump in and drag people into these fights as well. I'm trying to think of solutions for Heroic in terms of output. I suppose that Revenant's Brooch is actually a big factor. You've got the Ags on Analog going for the Blink next, so some good rolls as well can start to line up for you once these BKBs start to fade away. It's just a matter of, these are still fairly long duration BKBs. Malorine with 8 seconds. Still got the 8 seconds as well for Skitter. Trying to pin them down is a little bit tougher. You still got the Lincolns being worked on here by Hector. Does have the BKB of his own. But the BKB alone is probably not going to be enough to give the Wind Ranger that much of a game just yet. I think for Falcons, they're in control. 13k up, 26 to 15. Harpoon, as mentioned, being built up by Skitter, and there's not much to worry about. Even BKB up on Crit now. So trying to pin this Bat Rider down is highly unfeasible for the side of Heroic now.
T2 top tower, it's going to go down for nothing really, just no defense to come. And bottom lane, a big group up from Heroic, but it seems like Crit wants to chase them down and try to catch a straggler. They are going to try and burst out the Bat Rider, and they will. A nice pick off here as Crit, not quite having the range with the blink to actually get the lasso off. Thing is though, Skitter is now here. He'll make the jump in on KJ, so they'll find a 1-for-1. They know there's more around somewhere. The chase is on for Analog. Analog going to go into the invis, should be okay. They will not have detection around this area. K1 and Schofield are around this Pangolier to boot, but seems like they do not want this fight. Or do they? K1, he's still thinking about it. He does have that 9-second BKB charge available. But it does seem like they are going to, at least for now, they're going to retreat. I mean, they are still fighting into an Aegis of Skitter.
Still a scary prospect, those 2 lives on Skitter with a BKB. Just a lot of output. Again, the burst damage not quite there for Heroic. Would have been an opening, but KJ is very consequential to how these fights turn out for Heroic. Need that additional control, need that extra damage with teleportation. Heck, even the Curse of the Old Growth can give you some much provided vision as well. Some information in the middle of these fights. Just not quite the right here to lose in that exchange. And the side of Falcons, well, just group up. Got that smoke out. Want to reveal some of these items coming in. Still have those BKBs at ready. Just need someone to jump on.
They're going to fight K1. They're going to barely miss out on the Wind Ranger instead of jumping in onto Schofield. Schofield will happily tank the gank here for his core, though I can't say the same for the Mars, and the Vital Armor thankfully just cancelled the TP at the last second. So ATF was ready with the Torrent Storm. But they're going to go for the tier 2 bottom tower. I mean, there's no real stopping them here. Falcons, it's just a matter of if they don't want to fight, we'll just take their objectives. And hell, they're even looking at high ground. Still 40 seconds left on the Aegis. They can find a tier 3 tower with that time.
Is under attack.
But they're going to be lacking a creep wave, sadly.
Fortified.
Some good cuts being made by Hector and KJ down bot. Still have decent control in this area. Don't have the wards any up and running any longer, but have to do everything they can now to keep that high ground safe. No outer towers left for Heroic. Map has completely shrunk. And aside of Falcons, again in cruise control here. MKB being farmed up by Skitter, so he can get some hits onto Hector when these engagements do break out. Not going to be too long for him, considering how well Skitter has been farming up here. Amar going into his own BKB now, has had the Octarine for quite some time, so the uptime on the Torrent Storm, very nice. Pretty much all the spells feel really spammable. 45-second Ghost Ship. It's just impressive for the side of Heroic. And for Heroic, I mean, it's all defensive. Analog's going for his own Lincolns. Hector is still working on that Lynx that we were talking about earlier. The only guy going damage is really Divine Llama. Just going into Revenant's Brooch and Divine Rapier at this point on the Mars.
It feels like one of those kind of games where he just feels like he's going to solo carry here. Is I think what Divine Llama's thinking. Just not seeing the real win condition here for his side. Decides better of it, I'll just do it myself. They have a 5% chance according to Dota2, so you've got that going for you if you are Heroic, but that 5% doesn't exactly instill much confidence in you, I'm sure. See if he ever gets the chance to actually have that Revenant's Brooch plus the Divine Rapier. I mean, it's a lot of gold till he has that up. He's going to see ATF. Arena is down. ATF does get caught, but he's a very tanky target. He'll get the boat out in time. They'll throw everything but the kitchen sink at him, but he's still got all his spells off in time, and ATF is not dying. He is not dying. He will survive through all of it. Analog is gone. K1 can only run away. He'll still try and chase down the Razor, but to what avail? Maureen will die happily, knowing that the Wind Ranger is going to go with him. 4 heroes down. It's only Divine Llama to survive all this, and hell, even that, I don't know if he's going to survive it. Crit might just jump back in.
Tower is under attack.
In fact, he will not, because he doesn't have a blink available. But it won't matter. T3 mid tower now down. Glyph will be forced,
Are under attack.
but the game just continues to get even more challenging for the side of Heroic.
And it is. Again, it's just that durability. You focus down Amar, it doesn't matter. Ghost Ship comes in. You've got Skitter in the sides with Warcry.
Dire's middle
And who's supposed to burst down this Kunkka? Who's supposed to burst down this Sven? He managed to kill off the Razor, but that's not burst. Just it took them so long to actually find that kill.
Yeah, that it did. It felt, you know, kind of impossible to get anyone. It's just too much. It really does. I keep going back to this pos on Wind Ranger. I don't understand the core Wind Ranger role at all. I really don't. Just not doing anywhere near enough to really warrant the fact that it's a core.
Yeah.
I think that's why Divine Llama right now is just sitting on this Mars, behaving like he needs to carry.
That it feels like, you know, like I like the build. You know, I do appreciate Revenant's Brooch and Divine Rapier. It's just nice. You need at least a Brooch up, and that gold is still a ways off. They'll try with a smoke out on Heroic's end. No vision outside, no information. Going in a little bit dark.
are scanning.
Not going to be able to smoothly find anyone. Side of Falcons, again, just in cruise control. Could wait the next Roche, minute and a half, minute 40, till it's back up.
Oh, not K1.
21k lead.
He's alright. It's just so tough now. Like I'm trying to find like a way back into this game for Heroic. It's just looking really damn tough. They'll go for the Tormentor again by the looks of it. Tormentor will go down, no worries. K1 will get himself a shards up now, so you do have the Gale Force now available, which, you know, it is some nice utility. Can't complain too much about that. We'll see if it makes any kind of difference, though, into this high ground defense that is coming, because Falcons, they are pushing through the top lane.
I don't know if it'll do enough. Again, you've still got BKBs ready. Maybe it will make it easier to punish if they're greedy and not pop BKB. You get the follow-up from the Vi and the rollout from Analog. You can try to clean up from there, but it's hard to see those opportunities pop in. Amar finally has his full BKB, so he shouldn't be as close to danger as he was in the last fight. Has some protection for himself now, going for the refresh next. I don't know, like, I think the ideal for Heroic is to pick off, just hunt these supports, and then try to take a wider fight 3v5. It can't just be one support. It has to be both of them dying ASAP without you committing too much into a wider fight.
So now Roshan going to be available in 10 seconds, and Skidder, he's very well aware that it is coming. Just casually wait for that Roshan attempt to come. A Heroic, you know, you're in a position where you can't really afford to let this go down for free, but it's also a position where you can't really afford to fight either. So I believe they are just going to have to wait for it to go down slowly but surely. There's only one buyback on the map available right now as well, and that is only Divine Lava. So if you did take a fight and you get wiped, it is pretty much just GG. They do make the run down towards the south, but they are just way too late to the party. You could still maybe take a surprise team fight, but with the Aegis up on Skidder, it's not very well advised.
Certainly not. They've got more defensive items up. First Linken's on Analog, finally done. Linken's on Hector as well, finished up earlier into the Ags. The Ags can be disruptive on the Wind Ranger at the very least, forces out some dust, but I don't know if Vision's even an issue when you've already got the gem up and snaking anyway. You still have answers ready on Falcons. Going for that top push. Heroic have to show us something special. Again, maybe a pick off into one fight, but yeah.
Yeah, Linken's broken here by crit. He uses the 4-star to break the Linken's out. K1. He'll BKB and run, but just look at the damage output from Malrine. Down for 75. No buyback available on that Wind Ranger. Nowhere near enough gold for the buyback.
No. I mean, I don't even know if having the Wind Ranger around would help your cause by that much. I just have to try to hold as best as they can.
There goes a tier 3 tower. X out of the Schofield. I mean, at least it's going to avoid the boat damage, but it doesn't really matter too much because he's still just going to casually die to Skidder. There goes the top racks. ATF onto Divine Llama now with the X up. Torrent is going to connect, and the jump is there from Superman himself. Skidder going to go right into the tier 4 towers, but does look to retreat now with his BKB still running. Meanwhile, Analog does go for a Rolling Thunder. They'll get a nice arena down, but where's the follow-up damage? It's just never coming. Crit will take down the Lion. Divine Llama's going to melt to ATF and Malrine, and now it's just Analog left. He'll roll up and try to get away, but they'll get the stun off. Analog just being bullied underneath his tier 4 towers. Will not survive. He is gone. No buybacks available, but they are yet to call it.
Yeah, the respawns are fairly short, I suppose. But Falcons can just kind of force out the mega creeps here into the tier 4s. Nothing really holding back any longer. And Falcons, very dominant form so far. 37 to 17, 30k lead. A little bit rougher to start off in comparison to game 1, but still see that clean execution coming out. Great understanding of what their drafts can do, of how to draft to their strengths as well. Amar going fishing, doesn't quite find anything. There goes the Mega's Horn. We'll see if Hero can do something to hold off here, but doesn't look good.
Absolutely not. Falcons going right after the jugular now. Onto the Ancient they go. Heroic still desperately trying to fight this one out, but nothing really going their way. Ancient just being focused down here by Falcons, and the game is officially over. KJ will call it at the last second. Team Falcons, I mean, you can't really say this was an unexpected result.